over the last 2 months, as we've been sailing through Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands, we've been doing a lot of snorkeling and spearfishing, and also freediving, where we try to hold our breath for a long time and dive underwater without scuba. So when we arrived in a little town called Peava in the Morova Lagoon and came across a freediving instructor named Harry from Australia, we jumped at the chance to do a little freediving certification and training, especially for Stella and Cleo, our teenagers. We began with an evening theory session at a local eco lodge called the Driftwood Lodge, which is where Harry was staying, covering things like different equalization techniques and the dual CO2 buildup and O2 depletion curves that really define freediving.
So it's not a very good way to kind of stay relaxed, but it's build up, so just one big breath and then hold breathe. Well, when I'm in Australia,
as you hold your breath during freediving, a whole bunch of physiological effects kick in, including something called bradycardia, which is the slowing of the heart. And so here Harry sort of shows how this works by sticking his head into a bowl of water while wearing a heart monitor. Into the 40s.
So you got down to almost 38. Like it would have carried on going a little bit, maybe even to like 30. So that kind of gives you an idea. Like when I'm diving, my heart rate's probably only in the 30s. Top, so I'm using way less oxygen than I would be on the surface for like the same amount of exertion.
The next day we hit the water. The first exercise was a free immersion, where we dove without using fins and just pulling ourselves along on a rope. You use very little energy this way, so it's a great warm-up. Here's Cleo taking the first stab. Unfortunately, she struggled with a bad ear and equalization problems all day and then the next day, which limited her depth. The day was pretty great, although a couple of serious rainstorms came through, such as this one during Stella's free immersion. It lent a surreal aspect to an already pretty surreal activity. Stella, who has a preternatural calmness in any case, really took to freediving. Here, she bangs out 12 meters, no sweat. Here's my 12-meter free immersion, in which I was treated to a visit from a spotted eagle ray, which was just terribly awesome. Check out how it comes up for a sniff. There's also a big gray reef shark just on the other side of it, deeper down, and he hung out for much of the day, really interested in the weight at the bottom of the rope.
Did you see that spotted eagle ray? So cool.
One critical piece of freediving and scuba diving is to avoid pushing yourself and learning how to listen to your own body. Cleo was thwarted by bad ears on both days, but she figured out that going down right side up made it a lot easier to clear, so she basically just worked that, honing her technique, and even got some depth and breadth hold time in the process. Here she nails 10 meters or 30 feet. In the afternoon, we dropped the weight to 20 meters and then had a go at extending ourselves in a category called constant weight, which is where you let go of the rope and you fin down. This is more challenging because the act of finning eats up oxygen. Stella was in a groove by this point, and as you can see here, she nailed 20 meters on her first go. Or maybe you can't see it because she basically disappears from view. But somewhere down there in the murk is a weight hanging down at 20 meters or 65 feet. And now we've got a couple of safety divers going down just to check out and make sure she's okay. You might notice as she comes back up that she's wearing a lanyard that attaches her to the rope. It's a great tool because it allows you to forget about the rope a bit and just slip into a fully relaxed dive. And the last skill that we learned how to do was rescuing somebody. So here we've got Harry, our instructor's gone down about, I think, 6 meters, and he's pretending that he's passed out. And Stella's swum down and is rescuing him. So she puts her hand behind his head and also on his chin and swims him to the surface with outstretched hands. And then she attempts to resuscitate him by blowing on his face and calling his name and pulling his mask off. And, you know, we had a lot of fun with this as well.
Okay, wake up. Three.
One. Is there...
One of the themes in our life on a boat is growth mindset and to be continuous learners. It was great to be able to dig deeper into this activity and acquire some new skills. I can see pretty clearly the future and how we're going to be putting this to use over the next year as we sail through Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. Pretty awesome.